Hi guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Ghost of Tsushima and review the game a bit and talk about the impressions it left on me after completing it. I've divided this video in 5 parts that I think are important for every game to have, and we will talk about each part individually. First off, the graphics. The characters in this game look natural, the facial expressions they make are quite genuine and look realistic, and they really express the emotions that they feel. The only thing that I don't feel like can match the awesome graphics that the game already has is the way the characters move their mouth when they talk, but that is just a personalized opinion. The game takes advantage of beautiful colors and scenery that really comes to life on screen, and I found myself often just wandering the map, either running or on horseback, and pretty much without realizing that you're not focused on a particular mission or an activity, which really tells you a lot about the way the game looks. One of the advantages that this game is able to take a lot from is HDR. I played this game mostly on PS5 on my TV, which has HDR, and it looks stunning. It also looked really good on a PS4 with a TV that has HDR, but when I played it on a TV without it, I kind of missed the vibrant and beautiful colors that it had. In this game, you find yourself playing Jin Sakai, the last member of a long-lasting samurai family during the time of the Mongol invasion of Tsushima. The story starts off really well, and it has a way of immersing you. An important factor to mention is that you can play this game either in regular mode, which is in English, or in Japanese, which would be a way of staying more true to the core of the game. But I personally played it mostly in English because I found myself lacking the information about the story a bit because I would have to stay glued to the screen during all the cutscenes, and I couldn't get a chance to rest my eyes. And you can also play this game in black and white mode. I haven't played this mode a lot, but when I tried it, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Anyway, through the game, you keep fighting off the Mongols that are trying to invade Tsushima, and you're focused on liberating key locations and people in order to get help either from the locals or from other groups of people that are fighting for the same cause as you. The story is generally good, but for me, after reaching around the midway point of the story, I kind of got a hint at where they would go with this story and how it might end. So it's just a bit predictable, but not too much. Ghost of Tsushima is one of the most fun games to play when it comes to combat. It's really engaging, it requires some skill and some motion mechanics, and on top of that, the exploration is done quite well. The way you fight in this game is based on the type of enemies that you're fighting. So there are 5 different kinds of enemies. You have brutes, swordsmen, shieldsmen, spearmen, and archers. And for the first 4 groups, you fight them with a different style, or the way it's called in the game, different stance. You unlock these stances by leveling up your technique points, which are essentially levels, and the more you level up, the more perks you can unlock for fighting each of the enemies you face. This is really fun to do, because very often in the game you'll face more than one type of enemy, and often you will face all 5 of them, so get ready to button mash. And during the fighting, you will often try to single out an enemy that you would focus first, and your main goal would be to break their defense to inflict damage. You could either do that by breaking their defense with a button, or you could try to parry it at a perfect time in order to kill them. Parrying can protect you from damage, and it can put you in a good position to try to do damage. So try to master that as much as you can. Another fun thing about the combat in this game is that you can have standoffs. Standoff is like a mini game that you can do at the start of each game when you're not spotted. And it requires some reflexes to pull off. So you basically stand in front of an enemy and you're waiting for them to try to swing at you. If you time your release perfectly, you can kill them. If not, you will lose almost all of your HP. Stealth is another possibility. You can use it to your advantage well. You can try to assassinate targets, stay out of sight, climb rooftops, or use a bow and arrow to keep your distance. Stealth is pretty fun, but often it kind of comes secondary to the amazing fighting mechanics. The exploration in this game is a bit limited, but it's still pretty fun to use. They went with the usual way of climbing like they did in Uncharted, for example. You have like a pathway which you could follow, up or down, or left and right. And later on in the game, you're able to unlock a grapple hook, which is pretty interesting to use, and it can help you reach certain places you couldn't before. So it's definitely worth getting. You can find side activities in this game either on question marks that you find on the map or during random encounters that you have with people in the world, where people will just tell you the rumors that you would later on explore. The cool thing about that is that many rumors tend to build on one another, and some of the side missions are connected, where eventually you would find yourself solving a bigger mystery or a bigger quest line than you initially expected. You also have two NPCs that give you a group of missions. I think it was 9 of them each, which you are able to complete as a fun and beneficial side mission while you complete the main story. Through the game, the open world lets you explore fox dens, collect banners, pet animals, visit springs, cut bamboo, and you're able to find these places with a unique feature that I didn't see many games use before, which is the touchpad. By moving the touchpad, a gust of wind takes you in the direction you're supposed to head in, and the controller also makes the wind noise. And on top of it, it looks beautiful and it's fun to use. If you have a PS5 and the PS5 version of the game, you will also feel every step that your horse makes when he gallops. When you use your bow and arrow, you will feel the tension in the keys, so it's quite nice. So my overall experiences with this game are really positive. And if you're deciding on buying this game, the answer is a definite yes. You have a lot of things to do. It's definitely worth your time. It feels more than just a game. It's kind of like an all-around experience, including the cutscenes and the fighting and everything that happens. I've played the Ghost of Iki expansion as well, and it is pretty fun. It is a nice addition to the game, but I personally don't believe it is as good as the game was. But if you enjoy the story of Jin Sakai, he dwells deeper on that, so you might enjoy that. So yeah, that's going to be about it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.